It's your favorite island explorer, rhinoCRUNCH, here today. Now, I'm playing this game that's new to the channel, so I thought I'd do an introduction video. If you guys are a fan of any of my older videos where I'm building or blowing other people's stuff up, I think you guys are going to like this game. It's been super addicting for me. I haven't wanted to play anything else. It's not necessarily a new game, but it's new to the channel. And so for this first video, what I want to do is I kind of want to give you guys a head start, and just so you don't have to make the same mistakes I did for your ship as far as like PvP goes and just learning the game. So this first video, I just want to introduce the game, give you a few tips that I've learned that'll save you a lot of trouble in combat. And but first, let's get started, and then we're gonna build our first ship and maybe hopefully get into a fight with it. So let's create a new character. And I can't change his name. Oh, I like this guy, dude. He looks like a Game of Thrones character, but that's a little too much, buddy. Nah, we'll stick with the man. Alright, as far as his face is concerned, we have the distasteful grocery store clerk, the homeless alcoholic, the Panda Express employee, we have a guy who got in a fight with a cat, and we have normal, kind of normal. He's got a big nose. He's got a tree trunk for a nose. Let's stick with Scarface over here. And what are we gonna do? Let's make him let's go with this color, this color. Clothing doesn't really matter. None of this stuff matters. Red. We'll do red. Actually, let's change his hair here. This is, I don't know what's going on with this guy. Baldo, Beatles. You gotta get rid of the hipster beard. I'm sorry. No beard. No mustache either. What is this? What am I, part of the village people? What is this? What's going on? What do I got a Harley out back? This is the Harley. This is totally a biker right here. This guy has a sweet motorcycle and 3 girlfriends. No, we're gonna make him look normal here. Hold on. I mean, as normal can be, right? It's kind of girly. I mean, you know, whatever. I'm not gonna judge, buddy. Got the mohawk. Cornrows. Make him look like Goku. Let's just stick with it. He's just a regular guy trying to survive. Alright. I can't change the name because it's my Steam name, I think. Alright, let's do it. Sure you want to create a character, rhinoCRUNCH, so it's gonna be changed later. Yes. Okay, so this is gonna act as an introduction, and we're gonna get a spawn island that we start off on. And there's no possible way off the island. Let's skip this as well. There's no possible way off the island until we build our first ship, so hopefully there's a lot of resources there. And we can build our ship and start leveling. So these are one of the revival chambers. And right off the bat, you're given 4 tools: pickaxe, repair tool, shipbuilding tool, and your scanner. Your scanner essentially is how you level, right? So if you come over to character here, they already give you some, you can make pistol bullets, a new pistol, which it's the same as the other one. And that's it, right? So in order to learn these blueprints or schematics, you have to have knowledge. And you can learn shipbuilding, and then there's different tiers. And all of these are like procedurally generated, so each time you spend your knowledge points, it gives you a blueprint. You learn the blueprint, and it's unique to that tier level, right? So there's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. In order to get knowledge, you have to use your scanner here. You see this little thing right here? So if we hit, say we hit that, see we get 5 knowledge. It says we already gained knowledge from scanning this. So let's go find some of the artifacts to kind of level, and that's essentially how you level. Oh, this is a good starter island too. There's going to be a lot of resources we can use here. So before we get too ahead of ourselves here, our main goal right now is to learn shipbuilding, and once we learn shipbuilding, we can start unlocking the different tiers of things that are within each category, right? So best way to do it is exactly what I'm doing with the scanner, and there's artifacts that you can find that give you about, depending on what section of the map you're in. So since we're in the tier 1 map right now, here's our grappling hook as well, which is super essential for movement, staying alive, catching your ship, etc., etc. But you see all these different islands here. We can't get to these unless we get our ship made. And all of these islands have a different section of the map that are separated by walls. You see in the distance there, there's a wind wall. That's a sand wall. There's also a tier 2 storm wall as well. There's a wind wall behind us. And in order to travel through those walls, you need to have a powerful ship based off of these schematics that you learned, right? So here's one of the artifacts. And once you learn these, you can't learn them again. So you want to take your scanner. Boom. See how it gives us 25 knowledge? And then there's these scrap piles as well. Timed explosive. And then here's some junk. A lot of these scrap piles will have junk. You can just right click, salvage, and they'll give you nickel. Now, as far as our inventory goes, if we get wrecked, all of our stuff is gone. Everything in our belt, we keep though. So I like to keep my resources in my belt, especially if I have enough to make a pistol. It's just smarter to keep all the stuff you need instead of the pistol. But I guess it's all preference. Let's check this node here. Iron, that's good. And you see there's I just got a shard right here. I believe it's called Abyssal Shard. Or Atlas Shard, I'm sorry. You want to keep these. These are important, and I'll tell you why later. We can farm some trees in a minute. I just want to show you guys something else really quickly. And then what we'll do is I'll farm this up. I'll farm this whole island up. And then we will get our ship built and start exploring some of the other islands and start leveling. So here's these chests. You can see here there's blueprints in here. Now the cool thing about this is once we learn them, by right-clicking and learning them, we don't have to spend the knowledge points in here. So I believe that was a wing we just learned. Yeah, that was a wing. And so now, when we go to spend knowledge points, we don't have to waste it on the tier 1 wing, because guess what? We already got one. Let's see, here's some more scraps. Another chest as well. And you hear that ding? Whenever you hear that ding, that means someone opened a chest on the island. And it's global for that island, so it's a good way to tell if someone else is on your island. Or wood. Okay, so we're gonna get our scanner out. Been slacking. See, I'm starting to get knowledge from all this stuff. One knowledge, one knowledge. Just gotta scan everything, and it will add up pretty quickly. But our goal right now is to get to 50 so that we can learn how to make ships. Now, before I start farming for the ship and kind of farm the knowledge on this island, let's talk about resources real quick. Resources for each island are different. Since we're on the starter island, we're not going to have a lot of great stuff. Like this is birch. It's okay. It's not the best. Say cedar or hemlock. There's a lot better wood out there, but you're not going to find them specifically on the starter island, right? You have to travel around to the other islands and get different resources. So let's say, you know, we'll find a bunch of birch and what is this here? A bunch of birch and ash on this island. So the next island over might have a ton of cedar, might have a ton of hemlock, etc., etc. One other thing that's important to mention too is you see these stations right here. These are crafted by players. Well, I don't have shipbuilding yet, but sometimes players leave blueprints in there. You can't learn the blueprints, but if you pull your ship next to it, you can then craft that and put it on your ship, which is super useful for players who are trying to help other players out. So Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna farm a ton of resources. I'm gonna farm a ton of knowledge, kind of level up a little bit, and then we'll come back and we'll build our first ship so that we can go to the next island. I think we'll go to that one. Yeah, that looks like a good one. And while I'm farming, I'll show you guys the first time that I got wrecked by another ship in this game.
We got a big ship coming in. Yeah, pretty massive. And those of your
Oh my god. And there's like 8 people on it too. These guys are up to something, bro. This other guy. Yeah, dude, these guys are up to something. We're gonna get bullied.
yeah. He has a gun underneath his ship.
Okay, so we can constantly repair our thing down there. Uh-oh, I think he's coming up. He's coming up. Don't let him take over.
Uh-oh. I'm responding with yo.
They're preparing to do something good.
The ship. Oh, I see it.
There's too many of them. Oh.
He's breaking our shit.
No, he's not.
That's the breaking tool.
They're breaking something. Shipyard. Oh, they're trying to take out the shipyard. So
Oh, no, he's breaking our fuel tank.
let me repair it. Requires cedar to repair. Did you get them?
Yeah.
You guys are garbage. It's back.
Going back down.
Why are they trying to break that?
Can't take off without it.
Get him again?
No, he's still breaking it.
They're just wrecking the ship at this point. Plenty of ammo. Oh my god.
My best bet is to take off.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's gonna keep respawning and keep doing the same shit.
I can't get up. There's like 5 of them out there, dude.
What's he breaking? Oh, they're down below.
What are they breaking?
Our wing.
Hit the Atlas thing. Hit the Atlas thing. Knock
They
them
broke
off?
the wing off. Yeah. We're missing an engine and a wing. We're hurting right now, boy.
And they're right behind us, dude. I'm going in the storm, dude.
Okay, man, this shit ain't gonna hold up.
Oh yes, it will.
Not They're gonna be right on our ass shooting us the whole time. I say we just go straight at them up as we can, most as we can.
All right. I'm trying to turn, but my lane, baby. Oh, they're gonna take the gun out. How do you get so close? Hit the Atlas thing. Hit the Atlas thing. You'll drop it.
I'm dead. I'm dead. Oh, I don't have any Atlas stuff.
I don't have any bronze.
Put the sail up.
No, I didn't.
That shit we can do.
I can't even steer. Both engines failed?
Yeah, they're gone.
So stupid, dude. Of course, the first island we get on, the starter island for the new world, dude. This is how we're greeted by the locals. See ya! I just saw him go flying by the window, dude.
You still on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you knocked off 2.
I knocked you off?
You knocked off 2 of them.
Oh, heck yeah.
Pick up another one. Trying to break our cell. Bam, neat chestnut.
Another one just fell down on it. Chestnut.
Small out chestnut, bruh. These guys are so fucking bad.
I know they are, dude. And I just knocked the other one off, dude. Just knocked him off again, dude. It's so bad. Alamo still stands, baby!
They got our sail, boy. I'm turning the bitch around, shooting the cannon at him, bruh.
The cannon's broken, Bo. I already tried.
Oh, I still shoot.
Did you make it?
Yeah. Oh, he did the little shard thing. Knocked his buddy off, too.
I'm still on. This guy has no idea what's about to... breaking their cannon, dude. I think their ship is messed up, Bo.
I'm gonna try to come out that way. I can't even come that way. Damn.
They can't get back up in their ship. They finally got me off. Yeah, they had lost control of their ship. Oh, man. All right, we did it. I farmed the island. Took about 30 minutes. I left the junk, like the bronze here. Really was only looking for like iron and nickel. You can't really find much on these starter islands. It's why you have to travel between islands. So let's build our first ship. And one little tip just to start off is you want to build away from these respawners, because we're going to build our own respawner on our ship. And let's say that there's someone else on the island and they're just harassing you while you're trying to build your ship. It's going to be a lot easier for them to harass you when the respawner is right, when you build your ship right next to the respawner. So that's something to keep in mind. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to build your shipyard. Now I got to clear up some room here. Chestnut birch. Let's do this. I also found a few blueprints while I was farming, so that's good. Let's see if I have enough here. And for building your shipyard, you want to use some junk ore, like lead. It's too heavy to use on your ship, and it's not really a good conductor or anything really. It's just basically junk. It's all over the place. It's easy to farm. It's easy to find. So I think we have it. There we go. So just go ahead and use lead to build your shipyard and your assembly station as well. And you're going to want to build a shipyard to basically dock on new islands as well, because it's going to create a bubble that protects your ship somewhat. Let's go ahead and place this here. And now we need our assembly yard. This is where we're going to be able to make parts. Again, just use lead or whatever junk you got. Tin, bronze, doesn't matter. I'm hoping a storm comes through. If a storm comes through, what the storm will do is it will actually respawn all the nodes. See all the nodes around here? These will actually fully respawn. And it'll also respawn the chests and that scrap metal over there. So that'll be huge for leveling for us. I'm kind of low on health here. Another little side tip, whatever, is you're going to want to put your assembly yard directly either in front or directly behind your shipyard. That way, when you craft a bunch of panels or something, you'll be able to reach it from either side. You won't have to hop down off your ship every time to try to reach the part. So just a little side tip. All right, let me max heal here. Eat a couple berries. And I didn't get anything fantastic on the island. Each ore or each resource has its own properties. You can see it says quality. But it also has side properties, they're not really listed, that will later on tremendously help the boost or the bonus that you give to each attribute of your cannons, of your engines, etc., etc. So, all right, let's build our first ship. We're going to start with a dinghy. And they give you, you know, these 6 pre-made frames, but they're just a pre-made. You don't have to, it doesn't matter. You can fully customize them anyways. So we're going to start small because we don't even have engines yet. We're going to have to run this thing off of sails.
but we're gonna have engines soon. So let's go ahead. We're gonna drag this up. These yellow ones can drag, you know, and you can also drag. But just keep in mind as you do that, as you increase the width and the height and the length of your ship, you also increase the resources required to make it. So just keep that in mind when you're making it. Now I'm just gonna manipulate the frame here. There's a couple things that are gonna be really important that we're gonna need. Essentially, every ship has one part that's super important. That's your Atlas core. And that dictates how much weight your ship can carry, but it also gives you gravity. So if your Atlas core gets wrecked, it's like you're covered in rust, or you're wiped. It'll wipe the whole ship, you'll lose gravity, and it'll fall into the abyss. So you want to protect that and your fuel tank as much as possible. We don't have a fuel tank yet. We don't really have to worry about that, but we're going to have one soon, so we're going to keep that in mind. So it's going to be kind of hard to understand kind of what all this stuff means until I build the actual ship, but it'll make sense here in a minute. So we're just gonna do that. That looks good. Go a little bit higher. No, that should be all right. And now one trick I learned that'll save you some trouble is, you see how the top layer doesn't have a deck, even though it looks even, like the deck has disappeared. Well, what you got to do is you got to hit done, save ship, and then go back to edit frame, and you see there how it recreated the deck. And I'm gonna have to keep doing it until I get this this other section level. So let's try it again. I think that did it. So essentially, this is where we're gonna have our helm, which is used to steer the ship. We're gonna put cannons out the side, and we should be able to cover this whole thing up. But there's one little design trick I learned that I just kind of want to share with you guys that will help you in PvP, that you can do early on. If you give it this kind of like angle, you can see this angle that I've given it. What it does is two things. The first thing is it protects whatever's behind it by creating like an addition. You'll be creating an additional layer. So you'll have a panel on this side, you'll have a panel on this side. And so then that way, depending on the angle in which you're being attacked, they have to hit it very specifically in order for the panel to get knocked off. It'll make more sense here in a minute. Here, let's see here. All right, that looks good. Now if we did this right, kind of hard to see. Pretty plain Jane, but again, we're just building this so we can get off this island, get to the next island, and start leveling so we can learn engines and all the other fun stuff that this game has. So that's good enough for the purposes of what we're trying to do. Kind of want to fix that angle a little bit. No, it looks good. Yeah, all right. So let's go ahead and make this. And so it crafts. Now you can see this bubble. So here's the thing. This bubble, if somebody rolls up on me right now in a big ship and starts hammering this bubble, you can absolutely out-repair the damage they're doing, unless, you know, they got a end-game ship. But if it's just, you know, some new player with new cannons, he won't be able to do anything. However, if he comes down here and he pulls his repair tool out and he starts damaging the shipyard, or he starts trying to damage your engines or your core or any of that, then you're going to be in trouble. So you're vulnerable, but not really. You're not vulnerable to the ship, you're more vulnerable to the player. Let's break this tree. We're going to need this out of the way. Really need the resources on the site. We might get attacked by a bee because we did this. You gotta be careful too. I've died many times to logging accidents. These trees are no joke, man. They'll kill you and knock you across the island. Your stuff will be gone. Ripperino. Okay, so here's one thing I want to check real quick. How wide is this? It's wide enough for what we need it for. Perfect. Alright. And this bubble, only you can grapple onto it, so that's kind of an advantage. All right, let's start crafting the pieces we need. So the first thing we're going to need is a helm. I want to check something here and see if I did this correctly. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is kind of glitchy. I don't know. It works. Your head doesn't stick out of this. It's below, so you'll be able to see. Your line of sight is kind of bad. I could actually probably move this up. Oh my god. All right, we did it. So what I was attempting to do before I got killed by myself from poor design is exactly what I did with this, where when you're in the helm, you're able to see through the top. Now, even though you can see through, your head is not exposed. And this is going to be really beneficial because we'll be able to completely encase this because of this. And we can even later on upgrade this deck to metal. So if it starts taking some shells, we won't have to worry about it. So it's a little tricky to get the proportion right. It takes a couple tries, but that's essentially what you're trying to do, is trying to create a point where your helm touches the deck just enough for you to be able to see out of it. So it takes a couple attempts, but it's definitely worth it. All right, now let's get our Atlas core on, and this is gonna, there's a couple functions of the Atlas core. The first function is it keeps us in the air, and later on you can get blueprints to increase the weight of your ship based off of the upgrades of your Atlas core. But it also does something else. And what it does is, if anyone's like grappled on, say, you know, you're on an island and you see a few guys and they start running towards you and you try to divert, but they all get down below and they're up here and your engines are down here and they get their repair tool out and they're wrecking your engines. Well, once you hit the Atlas core, it'll knock anybody who's on the ship off. And I'll show you guys how that works real quick here. Let me just put this on. And another thing as well is, you see how I'm leaving that little edge right there? That's so I can access it while I'm on the helm right there. Let's fix it. Let's just make it just enough so it's exposed for us, but not anybody else. All right, we should be able to access that. Let's see. Oh, that was almost self-death round 2. Okay, where is it? Yeah, so you see how we can just hit the edge of this? So if anyone's on, you just pop that and it knocks them off, right? The only thing is it does take one of your Atlas shards to use. So always keep those in your belt just in case you need them. And then what we can do is when we put the panel down, we'll cover that up. We should be able to see it, but they won't be able to see it. We could actually probably completely cover it and just hit it from the side. Let me try one more thing. And this is huge though, being able to hide this right away. So we're gonna wanna just get the edge just a bit. Let's see if that'll work. Oh yeah, that'll be perfect. Just that little lip right there. And we'll know where it's at, but they won't. And we'll even have room for a gas tank up front later on as well. All right, we're finished. So I got all that paneling on. I was able to find a couple blueprints for wings, so that'll help with stability and control. But I was able to get all the panels on. I wasn't able to find cannons. I found these swivel guns, which basically the swivel guns right here are used to shoot players who are on board. You can't really shoot ships with them. You need some cannons. So we'll learn the blueprint eventually. We just need to level up and get to the next island over there. So let me just walk you through kind of some stuff I've learned just based off of the combat, and it'll help you guys with your first ship. So first of all, normally what you do is you'd put a cannon right in here, And what that would do, it would allow you to access inside of here without having to jump in the helm, which is exactly what I need to do in order to access it, right? So once the cannon's right here, you'll also be completely encased. I can seal all this up, and it will be impossible for them to kind of repair tool down your entire ship. Until we get that cannon here, though, we got to leave this space open just so we can actually exit the ship, like so. But like I said, once the cannon is in, what you'll be able to do is if you turn the cannon all the way to the left, it'll eject you out. And when you're outside, you just jump in the cannon, turn all the way to the right, and it'll put you inside. So that's a little trick I learned, along with this helm trick, being able to actually see above. We're going to have to move that gun, by the way. So that's it. Essentially, this is completely isolated. The most important thing, I think, is your Atlas core and your gas tank being completely isolated as well. They won't be able to salvage tool down your ship, basically, which is kind of a huge problem right now. Oh, it looks like I missed a spot. Let me make one small panel real quick. Looks like I missed a spot on that left side. And our weight is really low too, so we're gonna have enough room to throw on more wings and engines once we learn the schematics and get all the resources. Yeah, so this is kind of exposed right here. We're gonna want to fix that. Just like that. And that's it. There we go. Let's see how she flies. Also, let me see. Can I still access? I should be able to access my Atlas core. Yeah, I see right here this little edge. And it's going to be hard for them to spot that edge. I mean, in the heat of combat, if they're hanging off the side and you got two guys shooting at you, they're not going to be able to specifically target this while you're flying. If you nosedive, and you'll be able to easily access this and knock them off into the abyss. All right, so let's just move the swivel gun, and we're going to head to the next island, guys. Actually, put this back here for now. Face it forward. I think it doesn't really matter where you face it. It's like 360. Let me see. Yeah, it's 360. It doesn't matter. So let's get the sails up. And let's be on our way. That island doesn't look too far either, so it should be a quick ride. Oh! A lot faster than I expected. For no engines, wow. Once we get some engines on here, though, it's gonna rip. And that's it. That's all I have for you guys. Make sure to like the video if you learned something new or you enjoyed it. It's very much appreciated, dudes. And we're gonna leave on some scripture, and I will see you in the next episode. Peace and God bless.